Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Deceptor Lab. And this is your boy Freeze here today to talk to you about the newest addition to the game, the G1 Power Cores. And we got four of them. We actually got a fifth Power Core if you count the rework, the Motormaster Sword. Unfortunately, I don't have that one available with me today, but I can talk about the four G1 cores that come out, which for this version, we have Blastoff, Motormaster, Bombshell, and Blitzwing. So, not gonna waste too much of your time. Let's get to it. Alright, so I already got these guys loaded up onto my on one team together just so I can do some demonstrations for each of them. And so I'll start off with Blastoff and we'll go look at his new power core. So I got the 5-star version of him. And I right now I just kind of got all of my combat pairings and stuff kind of changed up. I never wound up doing a video about Slugfest. By the time I got around to it, a lot of other creators were already doing it. But you'll probably get to see him in action a little bit. I'll just leave him there just for that purpose, so you can see his orbital strike ability taking place. But let's focus on the power cores for right now. And so our G1 Blastoff. So all of these I used the maxed out version of the G Metal. And this one increases the special ability by 26.5% and generates a shield before taking off for airstrike, which absorbs 80% of all damage for 4 seconds. Now I will say, and honestly, and a couple of you guys who I talked to about it after the newsletter came out, I didn't. One of the discussions the playtesters were having for a lot of these power cores was to make them better, to make them a little bit stronger. And so for Blastoff, one of the things that became a concern is that originally the damage was lower than when you look at this enhanced ordnance power core. So 26.5 for a maxed out enhanced ordnance power core. That's 26.5%. That's what I use on my Blastoff, even on the live server. Right now I'm on the test server because that's where we have all the G Metal power cores for the G1 series. So that wasn't the case when we first started. A couple of the testers started talking to Fabian, and they said, hey, nobody's gonna use this core, including myself, because Blastoff's my first 5-star. And so when I looked around and I saw that I was going to have to take a reduction in damage in order to use the G1 Power Core, I was all the way out. Right out the gate, because my issue then becomes, it's like I'm already losing opportunities for one-shot kill on the MDS. Like when the MDS first came out, I was still good. I could still one-shot kill. Then they added the Power Cores to the MDS. And I said, all right, well now I can't one-shot, but I can get pretty close. If they use the armor core, if they use the self-repair core, something like that. But then I got to take a even less damage. I wasn't for that, even at the expense of getting some protection. Because one of the things that I look at the current meta defensively, and I've been saying this a couple of times, is that currently a lot of players, at least in the wars that I've been a part of, are starting to use laser ricochet power cores defensively as opposed to anti-air cores. Now I'm running 4 anti-airs right now. That's what I have. I've actually got 6 G Metal anti-air cores that I'm holding on to just until I see what happens with HQ18. But at the same time, I'm looking at now I'm looking at a good power core for Blastoff, because 26.5 damage increase, and then reflective coating, what I'm looking at a maxed out version of that right here, is 74% protection, and that's just from beam lasers and laser turrets. Now when I look at this G1 Blastoff core, and it's a little harder to read because the tooltips are getting longer just to make sure that everything's understood, but that's 80% of all damage for 4 seconds while that's flying around. So it's really your anti-air core. So let's test them out, see what that looks like with and without the core. Now I'm going to take myself out of the screen for a sec, and we'll just go do a test run playing the game. Alright, so I will take him, I'll take him to zone 15 for the time being. Actually, you know what? What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take them to my own base. I'll do a base trial. So let me back out of there real quick. I'll do a base trial because I know for a fact that I have those maxed out anti-air power cores. I got 3 of them maxed out, and I got 1 of them G metal at 13. All 4 of them are G metal. The last G metal I have is at 13, and I really want to see the damage. How much he's protected. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So yeah, now with the ability damage matching, now I would have liked to have seen the G1 G metal maxed out, be able to take out an MDS. Had several conversations with Space Ape about this. They're not gonna have anything that's gonna make you easily take out the MDS. So this is the next best thing in my opinion, is to be able to sustain some damage while you're flying around the battlefield. So right now, this is about the level that my blast off actually is on the live server. And for whatever reason, my second ability attack. Oh, you know what? I think he might have run into the MSM. Let me try it again from a different spot. Let me actually move the MSM, because even though it showed me as using an attack, he didn't go anywhere. Alright, so I'll do that. I'll actually, yeah, I'll leave that one there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and run another base trial. And I just want to see how many ability attempts I can get off on this thing, because typically what I'm looking at when I'm using any kind of protective core is how many times can I use that ability for an air class bot at least. And so for blast off, what I'm looking at is I'm trying to see if I can get approximately maybe three, maybe 4 attempts under the fire of all of these anti-air cores. So let's see what happens. So I'm gonna take out that build bot there at the top. Boom. Got hit a couple of times by a couple of different defenses, no problem. Getting hit by anti-air again. Alright, that's a second pass around. And let's see, let me go up there to the MDS, see if I can get even more. So yeah, this core is working very, very well. I'm just spamming his ability right now, and he's holding up very nicely. So with the improvements they made to the core, and they were real low key about it, because when I didn't even notice that they had increased the power on it. One of the days that we were in the discussion in the playtest server about it, and Fabian said, yeah, you know, after the playtesters kind of protested for it a little bit, he said he was gonna make the increase, and I actually never noticed that he did it, to be honest. So so the damage is there. It's the same as it is with the enhanced ordnance. I'm actually gonna throw the enhanced ordnance up there now so you can see what it looks like with him on enhanced ordnance. So that'll help out to kind of show the difference between the power levels of each. So what you'll wind up seeing is that the damage is going to be roughly the same, but I will not be making 4 passes of this special ability with the EO core, because I'm not going to have the protection that I'm going to have on the blast off G1. But we'll try it. We'll see what it looks like. And honestly, man, like I don't really like a lot of the G1 cores. Like I can always find a better prime core or something to use with specific bots. So this batch I'm really actually genuinely excited about, because man, it's been a while since there's only a handful of these cores that I've really been looking for like that. And so when I looked at these, and I was like, man, all of these cores are now desirable. So I'm really excited about it, and I just want to get this video out as early as I could. See, this time I'm using just the regular enhanced ordnance core, 2 passes and he's down. So obviously you can see that it's a really big difference compared to when you're using the enhanced ordnance core. Like I said, this is one of my most heavily used bots in the game, because he's my air class bot that I use on my war team and everything. So seeing this during testing, is really exciting for me. I'm excited for the core. If I had to give it, if I have to give it a rating, I mean, he's this doubling this guy's durability based off of what I'm looking at on this video. I'm gonna say I give that core at least an 8.5 out of 10. Leaning more closely to a 9. I think that's for him. The only thing that I'm taking a point away from for is not being able to go up there and one shot the MDS, because his ability, he's at ability 11 that I just used up there, and he's pretty powerful. That's the only thing that Space Satan won't let this guy do, is to go do that one shot kill. And for that, I'll give it a 9. That's a solid core. It's something that's going to keep my air class bot alive and keep my, and I can still one shot kill a lot of other things on the battlefield. So I'm with it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it my thumb of approval, my seal of approval for that one. So let's go back to the battlefield, and we are going to take a look at, let's see who I got next. We are gonna take a look, and I'll set up my base trial, and we'll try out Motormaster's core. So let's take a look at his core first. So he's got the G1 Motormaster core. He got 2 cores. He got this one, and he got a reworked Motormaster sword, which I don't have. But we'll look at the G1 Motormaster. So it says restore 3% of health every 5 seconds. All right. So you restore 3% of health every 5 seconds, and when your health drops below 40%, you overcharge the sparks of your allies for 348% of their damage over 5 seconds. Now let's take a look at this Motormaster real quick. So I got his lightning burst at level 11. I'm using my 4-star here because this is what got imported over from my live account. I don't have it at level 11, but I try to run at level 11 for everything when I'm trying to do a demonstration. So on the test server, I bumped him up to level 11. And so yeah, that's 432 over 8 seconds. This one is going to be 348 over the course of 5 seconds. So that's like as he's get ready to get taken out, it's giving you your entire team one last boost of his special ability, a smaller, lesser dose of that special ability. But I mean, let's be honest, that's still pretty high for that G1 Motormaster core. So let's go ahead and take that to, actually I want to see something real quick, see if I got a certain power core. But I said I would like to get him on the battlefield and see what he does. Yeah, so that's what we got. Let's test him out and see what he looks like. I'll put him up there with the entire team and see how that goes. And this one I kind of like because it addresses a couple of things, and then both of the things that it addresses revolve around his health. I feel like Motormaster, at least for this 4-star version I have, is relatively squishy. I think that there are times that if I don't keep him completely and totally protected, that he dies easily. And so if that's the case, and Fabian did ask us some questions. He's like, hey, what kind of cores do you use on Motormaster and why? And one of the things we were talking about was trying to maintain this health. Like, I've been through a phase where I was using the Micronus core on him, and it's like, okay, well, he'll stay in the middle of the pack for the most part. A lot of times when I get into raids, he might actually rush forward a little bit, but I think a little bit of that has to do with the fact that I'll use Impactor and I'll use his ability, and so it allows him to kind of leapfrog Impactor instead of letting Impactor stay in the front. So it's just one of those things from a player perspective that I have to be conscious of. But we'll go ahead and we'll try to use these guys together in a group. And so we'll use the ability. And what I'm trying to wait for is for, oh yeah, that's good health that he's keeping right there for the most part. I mean, he's still relatively squishy, but that health is holding a lot better than I'm used to seeing it. And it actually, yeah, And honestly, let me stop using his ability as much. I'm gonna try it again because I want you to see the exact moment that that is that his lightning burst kicks in as a result of the power core. So let's take a look at that one more time. And then we'll take a look at him without his core and see how quickly his health fades. Yeah, because I really like it. I think that's awesome. Alright, so let's see. We got... I'll put him out there first this time. So let's see how far his health holds. And right now, dude, his health is holding a lot better than I'm used to seeing it. You already see that Blast Off got taken out. And you can actually see... Yeah, you can actually see that his... And let me try to get him away from the combiner a little bit so it doesn't take away from the effect of his... I don't want it to take away from the effect of his power core working. And then I'm gonna go run him without the power core. Because like I said, what really bothers me is I go put him in a pack full of other bots, and this guy will just, while he's there, he's good. But if I don't keep like double healers or something like that on him, then he's toast. Oh shit! I still went in too close. But you can actually see, and Motormaster is actually the last one to die this time. So that's pretty interesting. We'll run this one more time. And this time I'm just going to take the combiner beacon away. Granted, all I have to do is just deploy a little bit lower. But I don't want it to get mixed in with Bruticus's attack. Alright, we'll do one last look in that corner for the actual attack. Alright, so we'll go right here in this corner. Let me get rid of those power cores off the screen, but yeah, I mean, he's holding pretty good. And then you can see they're overcharging the sparks of the allies. And actually, for me not using any special abilities, that attack held up pretty good for that corner. So yeah, it's a pretty impressive core. It definitely gives him some more health. And I think that just to show a comparison, I'm gonna remove the core from him, and I want you to see how quickly he dies using under the same circumstances. So let's go to, actually I'll go this way, because I said I don't want to go reveal anything that I'm not supposed to be revealing. So I'll just go to the bots that I already got on the screen. So I'm gonna unequip that. And we will give him another test run. And what you'll see is that he's gonna die much faster without that health increase every 5 seconds. So yeah, man, these things are pretty good, man. Not gonna lie to you. I mean, and to get essentially a free ability use, granted it's a little bit lighter version of its ability use, but I mean it's a pretty good, that's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Now let's keep an eye on this health meter, because now he's not holding up too poorly, but I think he lasted a little bit longer the first couple of times that I used him with the power core. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good core. I think it addresses some of the main concerns that we need for Motormaster. Um, I'd say I give that's a solid 8. If I had to rate this core 8 out of 10, would be my pick. I think that's a really genuinely good core, and I say I do not always like all of my G1 cores. All right, so this time we will take a look at Bombshell, and so let's take a look at his power core. So I got my 4-star version of him up here. And honestly, man, one of the things that's been bothering me is like people aren't using Bombshell as much because, and they haven't been using them for a while, pretty much since Dirge came out, because he can only hack one item at a time. And I've been neglecting him on this server. So I'm going to go ahead just to show the full display of his power. And I'm going to beef up his ability real quick. And like I said, I'm on a test server, so I can just go ahead and add the resources to get him where he needs to be. Because what I want to see is I'll tell you about his ability in a second. Because the thing that I want to see is when he uses his ability 11. I want to see just what that looks like with me hacking everything, hacking multiple targets, because the outpost bots are going to get hacked with his ability also, if you saw the newsletter and if you saw my press room video yesterday. Alright, so we'll go back in and we're going to beef him up, and I think he's going to be pretty good. Give me some more energon. Level 9. So here we're going to hack a defense, making an attack of the defenses with double attack speed, but 75% damage, and upgrade bonus for this one, hack a nearby defense. So yeah, that'll make it a little bit more usable. That's been one of the bigger complaints. Alright, now I gotta go back and get Z Energon for this thing, man. I just wasn't prepared for any of this stuff. So let me go back. Let me add some Z Energon to my account. And it's gonna be fun, man. Like, I actually really enjoyed this power core during testing. And so the only thing I didn't test, and I'm gonna test it now, you can see it with me, is what it looks like with his ability 11. So yeah, should be a good time. So for Bombshell, let's go ahead and add that ability 11. And let's get it started. Let's go ahead and... So we're going to take a look at this power core real quick. So defense is hacked by his special ability. Defense hack. Receive a 36% damage buff. And so that's important because those damages, the damage, well, from the hacking, it's reduced regularly. So when you go add this, and it's one of the things that the Space 8 added, you know, because we had an original version, and I think the original version was kind of like Motormasters, where it was adding additional health, and so it took that away. And one of the playtesters said, let's go ahead and have the passive hack ability increase. So it increased all the way at this level, maxed out G metal, to 13 seconds. Dude, let me tell you something. When you see this, it's a long time, and you probably already noticed it while I was fighting during the previous base trial. So I probably should have did his first, but it's all good. And so I actually like this because I noticed a pattern now of everybody having the high velocity shells up front. Like, I've got a couple of them up there. So what I'd like to do is just get out here, clear this out, and if it was close to another defense, it'll hack something. So this time it hacks a spider mine as well. And let's take a look at this, because this guy, That's a nice long hack. You see Sentius Malice just right now. He's just kind of just pushing Motormaster up there. But that's a long 13 seconds on that power core for him to be hacked. So I really like that. It definitely, you can see that Sentius Malice almost lost a one-on-one with Motormaster under those circumstances. So I really enjoy that core. I think that his passive ability works real well with it. And then if you go use his regular special ability, I think that's just a lot of hacking to be doing along with the passive ability. It's more potent. There have been times where I had to guess if his passive ability is going to work. But when you got this core up there, it's working every single time you encounter an outpost bot, which I feel very, very beneficial, because then you don't have to use the Liege Maximo core on your team. And I know for probably the last year and some change, I've been using the Liege core on Tantrum when Tantrum was a member of my war team. And for this purpose, just getting these bots to back away. And I don't think I have a maxed out version of Liege Maximo on this server. Let me take a look. Nah, I don't. But I say, so that passive ability, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably not as long as the Liege Maximo core. But I do think it's worth it to not have to do anything, not to have to use a power core that's actually going to help you. Like, let's take a look. I'm going to use this ability one more time, and I'm going to use it on the same defense. I'm going to use it on that auto cannon with the high velocity shell, so that we can, and I'll do it a couple of times because I want to give us a comparison of what the damage looks like. And I'm going to cut out of the screen real quick because I want to focus solely on that damage. Alright, so here, take the power core out. That's a stupid amount. This is the high velocity shell. Dude, this thing is putting in the work. Like, I would definitely use this. I would go after Bombshell in a heartbeat with this core applied, to be honest, because the high velocity shell for me is very, very annoying. Like, I don't have a dirge strong enough to go use, or a dirge or a Bombshell for that matter, to go use on my teams. So if somebody handed me this power core and I was going to get additional damage for it and have everything in a straight line, I don't even have to use Skull Smasher or anything. I can just go use its own HVS the entire time like that with substantial amounts of damage. I'd be all for it. So let's remove the core from Bombshell and see what that damage looks like. Like we said, this is a 36% increase, I believe it was. Yeah, it's a 36% damage increase. So let's remove that power core and see what that damage looks like. Alright, so yeah, man, I really enjoy this core. I think this is a really great batch of G1 cores. So I just don't get excited for these cores. I mean, there's some good ones out there. I like Brawl's G1. I like Scourge. I definitely like Scourge's G1. And there's some good ones out there. But yeah, and see, the damage just isn't quite as effective as it was with the core. So let's take a look at that again real quick. And one thing that I want to look at, let's take a look at the auto cannon that it's attacking, because what it does is it takes out that Spider-Man and then it turns to another auto cannon that's in the way. And let's get rid of the power cores real quick. want to focus right there on that second auto cannon. And you can see it's doing about 578 for this particular one right now. Alright, let's go put the core back on, see what it does. So we were looking at 578 for this particular defense this time. And now we're going to go back in and reapply the power core. This time, let's take a look at the numbers and let's take a look at the damage that's being caused. I don't know, man. I think this core makes him like very, very usable. It's just got a lot of utility. It's making sure the outpost bots are just running all over the map. Like I really, really like this core. Like I really like this core. So let's take a look. Oh, that went up to 896 this time against the 810 that time. All right. Yeah, it's causing substantial amounts of damage there. Yeah, so it's a little bit better. You get a chance to take some stuff out. I just use it on the auto cannon, so it's not the highest DPS defense that we got, but it's up there. I mean, it's up there to try to go damage that many things at a time. I think it becomes the anti high visibility shell core. Alright, so last one, and I know I got some folks that follow me that are good for this, and I want to go focus on Blitzwing. So give me a second. Alright, so here we got our Blitzwing G1 G Metal Core. And so the tooltip here says all of your attacks heal you for 15% of the damage done and generate a shield before taking off for a plasma shroud which absorbs 80% of all damage for 4 seconds. So we already got a blueprint of what that looks like because we get a similar protection when we were using blast off. So you saw just how powerful that already is. But before I go forward, I did forget to give Bombshell a rating. I really like Bombshell's core, man. I'm gonna say that's a solid 9. I mean, it's teeter-tottering on like a 9.5, based on the multiple hacks that you can get for a very, very low cost. But now we'll focus on G1 Blitzwing. So yeah. So the first thing I think about when I see that all of your attacks heal you for 15% of damage done, I start thinking about the Alchemist core. All your attacks heal you for the 15% of damage done. And so when I look at that, one of the debates that we started having, and it wasn't like an argument or anything, it was seriously like just a debate about prime cores, and should prime cores be the best power cores in the game. And me personally, I say yeah, they should. And so the conversation that we started having, was particularly involving this core. It's our Alchemist Prime is 15% for all your attacks heal you for that. It's a life drain, they call it. So when you go do a Blitzwing G1 core and you give it the same thing, does it devalue the Alchemist Prime core? And in my personal opinion, my answer to that question is yes. It absolutely wholeheartedly takes value away from that Prime core. Now, I will say, when I go look at this Blitzwing G1 power core and I look at it in this G metal capacity and I look at this core and I see that it's protecting him, it's addressing a serious issue about durability issue that I see in my Blitzwing. Now I'm using the 4-star, and I got to test the 5-star when they became available, but we re-import our accounts every so often, so I don't have the Blitzwing up there that I had when I had them all maxed out and everything like that during testing. So I'm using my 4-star right now. But I think it does devalue the Prime Core a little bit. And so the conversation that took place after that for the playtesters was, well, should we look at increasing some of the Prime Core some, because we got HQ18 on the horizon. We got some things happening that should make us have to go bump these things up a little bit higher. So I don't know if that's what that will look like. I don't know. And I'll probably ask Space Ape tomorrow on their stream and say, hey, is there any plan to increase levels for power cores? Maybe we should go up to like a level 25 for our power cores, and to keep a little bit of balance with HQ18. I'm not saying they're doing that. It's a question that I'm going to ask, but I think that would be necessary to give balance back to the Alchemist Prime Core. But either way, let's go look at it on Blitzwing and see how the core performs on him. So I happen to think this is a really good core. This is the first core that I tested, and just because I got a couple of buddies who really love Blitzwing, and I thought they would be excited. So this is, like I said, this is the 4-star. We're going to use his ability. And I want to give him a chance to take a little bit of damage, because what I want to do, all right, we got an MSM there. He's still doing damage. Man, he's looking pretty durable right now. And that's just with him using his normal attacks. Now you see I go up there and I start using that. I start using those abilities. And that health meter started jumping up a little bit. So that's not bad. I got a pretty decent chunk of defenses taken out there. So let me go ahead and back out. And let me try to do pretty much the same attack without the power core. But yeah, that's a good little chunk of health that comes back when you're using that ability. I mean, like, every attack that you get is going to come back and give him some health. So from the protection aspect, and from the aspect of getting health regen every time you do any kind of attack, it's definitely a valuable core. So yeah, let's try this again. We'll use his triple changer abilities. Alright, so I'll still let myself get caught by the MSM. And this time he kind of walks away. So yeah, it's a little bit. He gets taken down a little bit faster. So let me see. Let me try this. I'm actually going to time it this time. And I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try just letting them without using his abilities right away. And try not using his abilities and just I'll just let him go one-on-one with Malice, and we'll see how long it takes. Alright, so he's walking around. Alright, so he was gone in about 13 seconds. Let's put his power core back on and see if that adds anything to that just off of his normal attack alone. We already saw that it bumped up significantly on his special attack, because I mean, he's got a powerful special ability. Oops, I got the wrong one. Let me go use this one. Alright, so let's put this thing back on him, see how long he lasts just in a one-on-one with a pretty powerful outpost bot. Alright, so we gonna get Blitzwing out there back and around the same position. So yeah, it's about the same. So I think it's gonna depend a little bit more on using this special ability and getting those huge chunks of health points back by putting up huge chunks of damage points. That's what it looks like to me. So we'll actually try to run that one more time. We'll try to run it one more time. I'm still gonna put him in the one-on-one, but I'm gonna actually deploy his ability so he's not taking all that damage from Malice. And he can also use his Shroud on Malice, and we'll see what that does. Let's slow this down, zoom in. Yeah, he's holding up pretty decent down there. So let's see. Oops, and I accidentally put Blast Off down there. I keep trying to go get Malice, but he's on the pad, so I can't attack him. But yeah, he's become very durable at this point. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, I think it's a much needed addition. If you look at the numbers down there, 80 to 100, just him getting health back, especially while he's hacking at that wall. So yeah, I like that a lot. So yeah, I like that Blitzwing core. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I like it as much as I like, because the protection part, I don't, it's not as noticeable to me, and maybe it's because I didn't fly that deep into the territory of those anti-air power cores, but I don't like it quite as much as I like the blast off, the protection that he's getting, even though it's the same percentages. But I say I give that core a solid 8. That G1 Blitzwing core, just because it is, it still gets a good score, but it is also one of those cores. It allows you to, it makes you want to use his special ability. Like, I think for his normal attack, it's decent. When you use it with his special ability, I think it becomes fantastic. And I think that this is a really, really good batch of G1 cores. So if you have an opportunity to go try to get some today, I say go ahead and do it. And I think this is a really good batch. So let me know what you think of this batch after watching these videos. Let me know in the comments. I'll also be entertaining any questions about the G1 cores on my Discord channel. And you can go into my about section and you can actually see all of my social media information. I'll be talking about it on Facebook too. I try to get that running, because right now my Instagram and my Discord have become really popular, but at the same time I have not I need to get my engagement up on Facebook real quick. So check out my social media links in the about section, and in the comment section let me know what you think. And until then, I'll see you guys next week with the new con highlight of the week on Monday. But until then, I'll see you in the battlefield. Freezy is out.